Let's look at conjugates and see what they are. The conjugate for a radical, a plus the square root of b, the conjugate is a minus the square root of b. You're always going to change the sign right there. And when you multiply them together, you're going to get rid of your radical. Let me FOIL this one out to show you. A times a is a squared. A times minus the square root of b is minus a times the square root of b. B times a is plus a times the square root of b. And this last term is minus the square root of b squared. Now we can see these two terms are going to cancel. And I'm going to be left with a squared minus the square root of b squared, which is just b. What happens if I have a radical on both of them? The square root of a plus the square root of b times the square root of a minus the square root of b. I'm going to do this one with the area model to see if I can show you how this is going to simplify every time. Okay. Pen is acting up. Now, the square root of a times the square root of a is a. The square root of a times minus the square root of b is minus the square root of ab. The square root of a times the square root of b is the square root of ab. And the square root of b times minus the square root of b is minus b. Now you can see your cross terms are going to cancel and you're left with a minus b. I don't want you to memorize these. I want you to understand how to use them. So when I have to rationalize one of these, I don't want any radicals in my denominator. So I'm going to rationalize the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of my denominator. So the conjugate of my denominator is the square root of 5 plus the square root of 2. What you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. That's only fair. Now, I'm going to distribute this 3 times the square root of 2x squared to both terms. But you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to simplify that. 3, the square root of 3, or 3 times the square root of 2x squared is 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of 2. So you want to simplify these as much as possible before you get started. So let's see. Let me distribute 3 times the square root of x. 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of 2 across. And this is going to be 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 plus 3 times the absolute value of x square root of 2 times the square root of 2 all over. Now, I'm going to FOIL this out. This is going to be the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is 5 plus the square root of 10 minus the square root of 10 minus 2. So let me simplify. My numerator is going to be, let's see, what is this? 3 times the absolute value of x times the square root of 10. And there's, yuck, that's just ugly. Plus 3 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 times the absolute value of x divided by, let's see, what have we got here? Those are going to cancel, so I'm left with 3. So it looks like I can factor a 3 out of the numerator. 3, let me factor a 3 square root of x out of the numerator. So I'm going to be left with the square root of 10 plus 2. So now these 3's can cancel. So this is the absolute value of x times the square root of 10 plus 2, and there's nothing you can do with that. You can multiply it back out, but that wouldn't help you much.